Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Kyle for Hibagon Japanese Bigfoot, and we are 6 days away from our autumn trip up to Mount Hiba. Three things in this video. First, something weird. Something weird first, and I don't know what to make of it yet, but I'll put it on record, and you can tell me what you think. Next, another discovery, another big discovery related to our solar calendar. Finally, an update and possible adjustment to our itinerary. Something weird. Google Maps doesn't show it very well, so I'm here on Windy Maps. I love Windy. Good old Mount Hiba here. The mountain directly north of Mount Hiba is called Mount Kainashi. Kainashi. Mount Kainashi. All right. The mountain directly south of Mount Hiba is called Mount Kainashi. Also called Mount Kainashi. Two mountains, same name, only 8 kilometers apart. That's only 5 miles, guys. Same township. Mount Kainashi directly to the north. Mount Kainashi directly to the south. They're different mountains. Same name. And 3 mountains over from Mount Hiba to the west. Another Mount Kainashi. Oh, 3 Mount Kainashis in the same area. Same city. Why? Well, Kainashi means hair without hair. Hairless. Hairless mountain. You might have a Mount Baldy near you. There's a lot of Mount Baldies. Mount Baldy, a bald mountain without trees. Let's check that out. Okay, the western Kainashi. It's heavily mined, and it has this grassy park. Okay, so this hairless mountain is hairless. But the northern Kainashi is forested. We're centered on the summit here. A little bit of logging on that north slope, but that's temporary. Those trees will grow back. The mountain itself, forested. Not hairless. Southern Kainashi. Again, the summit is in the center of your screen here. It's very well forested. Not hairless. Hairless mountain. Hairless mountain. Smack between them you have Mount Hiba, home of the Hibagon, formerly called the Enko, the beastly hairy beast with long arms who watches and waits. You could draw a map something like this. Now, my wife thinks there's nothing weird to see here. Nothing strange. Move along. 2 mountains, same name. These things happen. Well, yeah, these things happen. You might have 2 Mount Washingtons, or 2 Mount Victorias, or 2 Gummy King Mountains, but not in the same town. Not 5 miles apart. Well, weird or not, significant or not, you decide. Tell me in the comments. Whose instincts are correct, mine or my wife clerk's? New discovery. I was thinking how to read this calendar. I mean, how did they originally read it back in the olden days? Starting from step 1. And then how can I read it today? How can we read it? And how can I photograph it and zoom into those lines? Well, you can't even see it from the road near the vertex, let alone read it. You can't even see it. The place to see it and read it, I think, would have to be somewhere up on Mount Azuma to the west. Here are the lines outlined here. Now, you'd want to see it more or less straight on, I think, right? You wouldn't want to be too much from looking from the right or the left. So somewhere along this line, it seems to me. Not over here. And not over here, I don't think. And then for height, well, I think you would want to be lower than the Mount Hiba Ridge, because you want to see that sunrise breaking for the first time over the ridge, I think. So not the Azuma summit, which is north of this lodge off your screen, but not even the lodge area. I think that would be too high to get the full sunrise coming over the Hiba Ridge effect. So let's switch to a topographical map. Well, here again is the dotted line. And somewhere along here, I think, would be the best place to stand and look at the calendar and read it. Well, the road crosses here and here. That's lucky. And the road curves around this curved shelf here. I wonder if you can visualize that. Well, back to hot air balloon view. And hey, what's that? It's a lookout deck with a parking lot. Great! This might be the best place to set up a tripod, screw on the camera, and zoom into those lines. It's November. Hey, a lot of leaves should be off the trees. But what's this up here? A little different color. Looks like less vegetation. Hey, let's burn off some gas and go down for a closer look. Uh-huh. Hey, do you see what I see? A little closer. Yep. That is the outline of a circular structure or formation, something like a squat cone. Oh boy, now a line from the peak of that cone, if you take it back to our calendar, yeah, that would be a very good vantage point, and that line lines up just perfectly, accidentally, with the third from the bottom radial line in our calendar. So that, gee, this seems like multiplying coincidence by coincidence. Now that is a smidgen off your winter solstice sunrise. I wonder if these things wobble over millennia. But anyway, the line itself lines up with the peak of that squat cone on Mount Azuma. There is a trail to the cone. You can get to it from the lodge up above, from the north, or from the road below, from the south. If we have time, we could park at that lookout and hike 1 kilometer up to this cone. Now, do you see that straight line through the trees? Here. Do you see it? Well, that lines up quite well with the sunset on the winter solstice, although with the same wobbly smidgen off. Maybe I should be looking at the summer solstice instead, or maybe a big earthquake has made our calendar a bit off. You know, the clock in my office is always a couple of minutes fast. It's good enough, but it is a smidgen off. Well, I'll come out and say it. I think this thing is man-made. I think it is a smaller sister sister structure of the Tate-Eboshi cone, which is also in line with one radial line on our calendar and also points to the winter solstice sunset. Coincidences are heaping up here, guys. Too many to hold on to. They're heaping up in a big conical heap. A big old monumental mound of coincidences. I know some of you are still on the fence, and that's fine. But at some point, it is going to be easier, I think, to defend all this as just designed and man-made. It is for me. I think I have the easier case already. Two cones, both aligned with the radial lines in our solar calculator. Solar calendar, I mean. Two cones aligned with the radial lines in our solar calendar, both pointing to the sunset on the winter solstice. Deeper and deeper. Okay, finally a little bad news. It looks like the road up to the Tate-Eboshi Cone Summit is closed. Seasonal closure, as we feared. It's not the worst news. We should still be able to climb the whole thing from the north. However, that makes it harder to get into the solar calendar vertex and harder to access Mount Azuma. But we have a car navigator. Hopefully it will help us get to where we want to go and can possibly go. But more driving around in the car means losing time snooping and sniffing around on the ground. Oh well, anyway, we'll do our best. We did leave it a little late this year. That's my fault. Next year's autumn trip we'll try to schedule in October. Okay, I'm Kyle for Hibagon Japanese Bigfoot. I had planned that my next book was going to be on missing persons in Hiroshima Prefecture. It looks like the next book might be on this solar calendar and surrounding, Kofun megalith, mega complex. Yeah, might have to do that. Okay, well, have a good weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.